This is Josh and Jay's Excellent Video Game Show.
Hello and welcome. Welcome everyone to the Josh and Jay Show featuring Rowan Kaiser. I am your co-host Joshua. I am joined as always by
your co-host Jay, and we are joined as always by
co-host Rowan.
Welcome back.
co-host Rowan.
Welcome back, guys. It's the day after Halloween, November 1st, 2014, and it's also the most depressing day of the year. It normally would be if it wasn't also
The day that the
best day of the year.
3-year and 9-day anniversary of Skyrim. Is that right?
You are correct.
Yeah.
No, it's the day where we get an extra hour of sleep at 2 a.m.
Oh, I don't like this time. I like summertime. I don't like this.
I love it when you get an extra hour. It's my favorite
The
holiday.
extra hour of sleep is good, but the getting dark at 5 p.m. is not so good.
Yeah, that's true. It is depressing. So it's double depressing.
So Rowan, you used to have 2 hours of daylight to do everything you needed to do, and now you have 1 hour.
Yeah, it's pretty sad for we vampires.
We can't go to Target and Best Buy. You got to choose.
Yeah, you got to choose one now. We used to have a saying for this in college when my roommates and I would sometimes just sleep until it was dark out again, and we call it beating the sun. If you woke up at 5:30 in the evening and it was dark out again, you lifted your fists in celebration because you beat the sun that day.
That feels weird. I've done that. It feels weird, though.
It feels
really
super weird. Being a vampire sounds cool and everything, but fuck that. I don't. It's weird.
I like mornings now. I used to sleep till 3, but now
Sure.
I like getting up early.
Yeah, me too.
It's my time.
It is my time. It's my time too. It's my time to shine. I do everything I do. Like I would say, 90% of the things I accomplish probably before noon now, and everything after that is like
I'm just at work after that. I don't even know why.
Right.
Yeah, it's all done. I did everything I need to do.
Yeah.
Well, some people are different.
you.
They slowly kind of get going. You know what I mean?
It's called delayed sleep phase.
Oh, really? I don't have that. As soon as I go online,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I
It's
gotta
like
go to Best Buy. I gotta go to Target.
Yep.
Apparently, most people are like at their peak energy and awakeness like 2 hours after they wake up, whereas the delayed sleep phase is closer to 2 hours before they go to sleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've seen them.
you've occasionally like peeked into post midnight Twitter.
We've talked about starting the show at 8 a.m. and Rowan, for some reason, is not into it.
But I feel like as Rowan slips closer, as Rowan gets more Rowan, and I get more into mornings, and you get more into mornings, maybe there'll be a moment in which we converge.
That's actually how I do my meetings at my job.
With a 5 a.m. podcast.
My news editor wakes up at 5 a.m. and lives on the East Coast, so we have meetings at 2 a.m. my time.
You get this when like Dave Navarro goes on Howard Stern. You get that crossover. You know what I mean? He's been up until he's on the radio show that
Axel
morning.
too, I'm sure. Though he doesn't do too many interviews.
No,
It's very exclusive.
that's why I chose Dave Navarro. I don't think he's very exclusive to anyone or anything. Period.
Did you guys do the Halloween?
Yeah, I did. You know what I did?
What'd you do?
I passed out at 9 o'clock watching the Addams Family movie.
That's pretty cool.
1 or 2.
The first one, come on.
Well, I mean, the second one is the one that has like the
What's too
recital
legit?
and stuff,
Too legit
right?
to quit. Is that the second one? Is that even?
No. The first one is just the regular. I don't think it. The first one has an Addams Family rap, but that's not it. But it is Hammer. I'm pretty sure.
I'm
It's
gonna
the do what they want to do, say what they want to say, live how they want to live, how they want to.
right. And I'm pretty sure Addams Family 2 had Too Legit to Quit.
Yeah, I think you're. I vaguely. That sounds right.
No internet. Just this from my brain.
We don't have internet. I don't know what you're talking about.
We don't use the internet when we.
Let's
do the
just
show.
go with the assumption that that's how it.
But
That's
was
the
it the
fact.
first one or the second one that had Wednesday's Thanksgiving play?
Oh
she put on
no,
at
that's
school?
the first one.
Oh,
That-
okay.
I didn't fall asleep before that part because
All
that's
right,
the
all
best
right.
part of the whole movie.
Is that
Yeah.
where she goes to summer camp?
No, that's where she and Pugsley perform this play on stage, and there's just like so much spraying blood everywhere. It's just
it's like all the massacres around Thanksgiving instead of just the...
She like they're playing with swords, and it looks like a couple of cute kids, and all of a sudden there's like she slashes her arm and like blood goes spraying into the audience. It's pretty awesome.
I did 2 things last night.
Yeah.
First thing I did was I saw The Exorcist for the first time.
What?
That movie's good. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
I watched Tucker
Your mother
and Dale
sucks
versus
cocks in
Evil.
hell.
Yes,
That's
yes.
my Exorcist
That was my Halloween
impression.
movie.
What one?
Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It's on
Oh.
Netflix.
Is that like what is that? Is that a?
Is that like Chippendale?
It stars...
No, is that college? Who was the college? Oh, never mind. Wasn't there some college guy? He had a series of like frat movies in the 90s.
Van Wilder?
Yes. Is it like Van Wilder?
No, it's...
the 90s and Jay.
Dude, I got you. I got you covered.
It's like an indie comedy movie that's like a slasher film told from the perspective of the hillbillies. And they're like the good guys, and the college kids are freaking out and keep like accidentally killing themselves and then blaming the hillbillies for it.
Oh, is it like that one X-Files episode?
Bad Blood.
Home?
Oh no, no, it's like they think it's Home.
Yeah.
Except it's just a series of increasingly bloody misunderstandings.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And it's one of the lead hillbillies is Alan Tudyk from Firefly, and
Oh, glad it's that Adam.
yeah, it's good. It's good Firefly.
Did you
guys.
dress up?
No, Alan Tudyk.
Oh, Alan, sorry. I
No,
misheard.
I did not.
Okay.
You dressed up.
This
though.
is why I'm a critic.
I dressed up. I watched The Exorcist with my girlfriend. She dressed up, and then
I saw Instagram pictures. You
saw it?
guys look dope.
yeah, we went to Target, and we
You guys crushed that fucking
we
Target.
fucking crushed it. We got makeup. We got all kinds of stuff. We carved pumpkins. Okay, here's the deal with pumpkins, because I made this mistake 2 years in a row now.
Squirrels ate all your pumpkins.
Fool me once, you can't fool me again.
That's
Don't
right.
carve pumpkins until the day before Halloween, or they will turn into a mushy,
Yep.
gnat-infested, fungus-infected, gross mess.
Absolutely. So I was in Chicago last weekend.
Yeah.
This time last weekend, I was in Chicago.
I want to hear before you go to
feeding
your
myself
Chicago
lots
trip.
of drinks.
Though,
I'm not gonna talk all
Okay.
about my trip. Only specifically about pumpkins and pumpkin carving.
It better
which,
be
which was
only Halloween.
which was going on last Sunday.
Yeah.
At the place that we stayed at, sort of a little inn above a restaurant, and they had a pumpkin carving afternoon where a bunch of families and stuff. There was the best pair of pumpkins. One, it was just carved in the letters for Ebola, and then there was a pumpkin right next to it that looked really scared to be sitting next to the pumpkin with
Was
Ebola
that a
carved on
coincidence
it.
or part of
No, it was done on purpose. But thinking about it, those are gone at this point.
Yeah,
like
they're gone.
those didn't make it till yesterday.
That's real art because there's no.
Yeah, I mean, thank God, me and 100 other people posted it on Instagram.
Well,
otherwise, it might be gone.
wouldn't
Yeah.
matter. What's
Right.
the fucking point of anything?
Exactly. So we
those
saved it.
pumpkins would have been Snapchat, but now they're Instagram.
Yeah, it was like the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. We saved Christmas.
After I watched The Exorcist for the first time,
Yeah. And you cleaned your
watched
pants.
my girlfriend play season 1, episode 1 of The Walking Dead,
Ta-da!
and it was fucking killer.
I know, right?
Everything I thought it could be.
Yeah, that's
She was
awesome.
super
It
into
worked.
it.
So it worked.
It worked. I started with me with the controller because I thought maybe I'll control it because she's not used to dual analog sticks and all that.
Sure.
And then she would make decisions. That was my game plan. I was treating her like a baby. She grabbed that controller out of my hand. I was like, "What? I want to fucking do it."
Yeah.
And play the game, and it was cool because I got to watch her make different decisions than I made, and it's cool. We didn't finish the whole episode yet, but
You started season 1, episode 1.
yeah, just
Did she say Carly or Doug?
what's that?
Carly or Doug?
No, not yet.
Oh, she hasn't gotten that far.
No, but she saved the little retarded kid and not the other hillbilly kid.
Yeah, which you couldn't save him anyway. He was gone.
Oh, really? It seemed like a choice.
Yeah. I
Wait,
mean,
our game's just the illusion of choice.
turns out, yes.
Sorry. Pardon my reach. That's better.
Is it? It's
Anyway,
one
that's
of
what
those
I did.
now.
Walking Dead.
That's fun. It
is-
just showed up on the Xbox store.
That's one of
I don't
my
know.
that's one of my fantasies is that my wife will be like, "Oh, what is this? what are you playing? This looks interesting.
I didn't think it would work, and I'm still skeptical that it will continue. But it worked.
Does your wife watch Game of Thrones?
She does.
Nope.
Oh,
You're
my
not
wife.
married yet.
Oh, whatever. It's the same thing.
That's a big nope.
Okay, because they're putting that one out in a couple months.
Yeah, she's not interested. Although that is one of the few shows that, like, when it comes on, she doesn't mind that. Like, it's like I'm putting this on now. Whereas normally we would find a show that we are both interested in watching.
She's mellow to hang out and just watch it with you, even though she's
like not really paying attention or she's doing whatever else. She's like,
she doesn't get hooked.
No, like it's on in the background of whatever she's doing, and she's like, yeah, whatever. There's
that is a show you
Khaleesi and the dragon,
Yeah.
and then this dude, and oh yeah, that guy got his head cut off. Whatever.
I do find with that show, with the Games of Thrones, that
Yes, the Games of Thrones.
if I'm watching them, I'm into it, and I need to keep watching. But if I put it away for a little bit, I don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not anticipating the new season or anything. So, but I'm gonna watch it.
I can show you some pictures of it if that'll get you anticipating it.
Where can I find these pictures?
Winteriscoming.net.
.net.
Wow, that's
I bought
awesome.
winteriscoming.com. And it's just
And every week, Josh holds that over Rowan's head.
it's just I'm just camping. Is it called camping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how far did you make it in Walking Dead? You said not through the.
We're
end
to the
of it.
hard to the drugstore.
Oh, right before the shit goes down.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. There's some intense stuff that changes the course of history.
I was kind of
coming up.
impressed because not like she doesn't play video games with a controller very often. You know what I mean? So I was surprised that she was nailing the QuickTime events and stuff.
Oh, so she. And now I'm not making this assumption because she is the she in.
No, because she literally doesn't play
Right.
console games since they like every girl her age. She's played NES and then nothing.
Totally. Like there is, there's like a literacy that goes along with a controller, and like an original NES controller is like a second grade level, whereas an Xbox controller is like an eighth or ninth grade.
I was along for the whole ride,
controller
so
level.
there was no just hand me this thing with all these buttons stuff.
Right.
Anyway, but she's nailing it. So
That's rad.
yeah. What were you gonna ask?
You should record that.
Well, I guess you didn't. So you're. I guess I wondered why not play it on PC, just because then it's not a living room situation.
Yeah, and also, I mean, she has her own Xbox account and stuff. Like, so when we watch TV, like she has her favorite channels and stuff. It's all tied to
cool.
her account.
This is what happens when you buy 6 Xbox Ones.
That's right.
I do. I did. So we accidentally played it on my account. So this morning, I said, "Hey, so that was fun." She's like, "Yeah, I'm going to play some more probably later." And I said, "Okay, here's the thing, though."
You're lucky.
You do that on my account, and so if I want to play something else, I can't do that while you're playing this on my account. So you kind of need to start over on your account. Kind of lame.
Also, she probably wants the achievements.
Yeah, she's gonna start. She was fine.
I don't blame
I
her.
felt a little. I felt super. Dumb.
But at least it happened then, and not halfway through episode 3.
right,
or
she can tear
something.
through that in an hour and
Yeah.
get back to where she was.
Yeah, that's nothing. When you know what's coming.
I also preloaded Dragon Age on both my Xboxes.
Nice.
Are you playing? Are you going to preload the Dragon Ages?
Yeah, the Dragon's Age.
On the PS4?
PS4. Yeah, my buddy just got a PS4, and he's super stoked for the new Dragon Age, so I think we're going to try to do some co-op, do some of the multiplayer stuff.
Why are you looking at me as if like you need me to say something? You know I don't even have those consoles.
I mean, Josh,
I'm wondering
you can co-op with yourself. It'll be rad. You got to get ambidextrous with the controllers and stuff.
I'm
but-
Xbox friends with all of our friends. You guys, where are you guys? That's what I want to know. We got everybody on there. We got Corey, Chuck,
Hey, I'm
Gus.
baller.
No, Rowan. I was gonna say. I presume you're playing it on PC since.
Let's go.
But you probably would anyway, even if you had the
Yeah.
consoles.
Like in 2 years, the mods are going to be great.
So are you playing? I was looking at you because are you playing it right now and you can't tell us?
No, yeah, the people who have it, like you can see them playing it on Origin. So
Oh, really?
I could tell you if I were playing it.
Oh,
but
is it not Steam?
Yeah, the EA.
Yeah, EA, man.
Get on Origin.
Get on Origin. That's one of the main reasons I'm playing on a console and not PC.
I don't mind Origin. I know some people hate it.
Yeah,
And it's always worked.
But aren't they like
fine
just
for me.
people that just say they don't like stuff? Because Origins, there's nothing wrong with Origin.
Well,
I mean, for some people, there is.
Well, here's one reason why I don't like Origin is that when I tried to load my Dragon Age Origins game that I had done a bunch of like Nexus mods with, there was something, I don't know, it just didn't, it wasn't able to like, something about using those mods did not go over well when Origins was validating my save file to load it. It was like, nope, sorry, your game's broken. You're going to have to re-download it and do all this stuff. And I think that was an Origin issue, not an issue with any of the other crap.
Did you lose your save?
Well, I can't use it. Like, I still have it, but it's unusable.
Can you maybe load it up, somehow transfer it to the Steam version or something?
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I've been messing with I'll just do the Dragon Age Keep thing with the characters that I have
yeah, you're
played.
in the beta.
Yeah.
Break some embargoes.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I can. I guess I'm not supposed to say anything.
Shaw.
I haven't even
I've seen
really.
people
what do you
saying things.
I haven't even really
Maybe
done
it's just
anything
in
with it
DM.
yet, though.
What is it? Does it? If you
It's
don't have a
basic-
save, can you go in and just make all your choices?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think
that's what it's for.
Yeah.
And what's up with the text adventure thing?
Well, it basically takes you through the first two games, letting you make the choice, which choices you want from on like one big swath of text format. There's like different sections.
Yeah, like
and
you get to a point where you get to check
You've done
all
it
the
too?
boxes of all the people you slept with.
You're in the beta also?
I actually have a code that I never hooked up, but I was just making a joke because you could fuck a lot of people.
Oh.
it's true.
600,000 penises.
There's too many video games out.
Too many video games.
video games. I haven't touched the Crusader Kings 2 expansion or the Europa Universalis 4 expansion. I've barely touched Beyond Earth since I played it earlier.
Beyond Earth.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do
Are we
it.
doing Beyond Earth?
Let's
just talk about it.
Just jump in the shit, man.
Let's get our Siege Worm on.
Yeah, Siege Worm. Oh,
Yeah, super original.
Siege Worm.
Um,
Siege Worm is.
what do you guys think?
I mean, it's a new Civ game.
Yeah.
So it's rad.
Oh, you do? You like it?
But
I like it too, but
there's something that's sort of unsatisfying about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've it's definitely Civ 5. A lot. Like, it's Civ 5.
Not entirely.
But, okay, not entirely. But it is.
Yes.
And it's even the units are Civ 5 units.
Yeah.
It feels like anyway. You have your gunner and you have your thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I feel like just about any game that did something like that would break down in roughly similarly.
It's Civ 5.
There are some huge differences between it and Civ 5 in a conceptual term that doesn't show up immediately as you play it. So,
Right, but those are the kind of differences like when you guys got the expansion for Civ 5 and you guys love the expansion, those kinds of differences.
right.
But it's Civ 5. It's just there's
Right, if you-
nuanced.
If you know how to play Civ 5, it's not going to take you long to get into this. However, the way that you like play the whole game, like the way that you conceive of how you are going to make your strategy and progress is very different.
I think that's a
Yeah.
very nuanced thing, though.
It is-
when it comes to this
I would
game, which
say
is
mildly nuanced.
like a
but-
Civ 5 skin.
It's nuanced in like the overall picture, but when you break it down into like the microtransactions of the game, each individual move, it doesn't really feel.
I think what's
that
happening
different.
is maybe Rowan. Everybody kept saying this is just Civ 5, and that bothered you because of these differences you noticed. So you want to talk about those before we talk about the part where it's just Civ 5.
But I would
Because
just
you're
say
right.
that
I mean,
there's-
there are huge differences, but it is also.
Yeah.
It's
It-
understandable
you'll-
for someone to go into this and go, all right, I'm going to go to space, and then there's a feeling of it's Civ 5.
Yeah, I mean,
For me,
it's,
when
it's
I'm playing
clearly
it.
based on the same technology, same engine, different graphics, which are very nice.
But
none of that has ever bugged me. I mean, I like that it.
That doesn't bother me about
I
it.
like that all of the interface stuff is like familiar, even if it's been tweaked.
On Idle Thumbs, they said the UI looks like a Winamp skin.
Yeah, man, that's a really good comparison.
Where's your Winamp really whips the llamas?
I don't have that one.
My meh about it, I don't think it's because it's just Civ 5, because I think I knew that by the time it was released. I kind of knew it was going to be that. I think my mehness with it is it just doesn't feel as interesting as a sci-fi game should feel to me. It doesn't feel...
Well,
like
what they're doing is they're introducing all of these. It's all of this sort of I don't know, hypothetical new technology and like how that might unravel and evolve. And I like the three different paths of sort of focusing on different like kind of evolution philosophies, I guess they are, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things is that as you go further down those paths, things get more different. You see like the differences more and more. Like the characters will change the clothes that they're wearing according to which ones they're going down.
Right.
The cities will change how they look. So there's a whole bunch of aesthetic changes and also obviously gameplay changes that go along with them. But it kind of seems like drab and samey at first.
It does. It doesn't. I guess what I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. I think if it's only dangerous and exotic in text,
yes,
but not in the feeling of playing it. It
That-
doesn't feel. I don't know. I don't want to say different because I know that it's Civ 5, but
There is sort of a feeling like as you progress, like you've totally changed humanity, but you're still doing exactly the same things that you had been doing before.
yeah, and it doesn't help that it's all kind of made up science fiction-y kind of stuff.
As
so there's
opposed
no
to that
real
real science fiction-y stuff.
No, there's no real weight to no. But I mean, I guess when I'm going for pottery or writing or engineering, like it just has more of an impact. It just feels like
you don't know the
I feel
difference
like I'm
between
trying to get-
like you don't know the difference between like nanobiology and nanotechnology.
right. I'm trying
or
to get
whatever.
when I'm going through the tech tree. I'm very much. It's very gamey. I'm very much trying to get the perk attached to the tech as opposed to the tech itself. Whereas in Civ 5. I'm like, writing's cool. Like I want my civilization.
I want my civilization to be literate.
Yeah, like I don't because I don't
think-
always.
I think-
You guys had ruined Dragon Age for me in a previous podcast, and I'm sure if you guys try, you can ruin Civ for me. But I do play it in a very I don't really do a lot of scheming. I do kind of play it in a way where I go, I kind of want bronze stuff. I don't think
That's
about
so
the
funny.
end game.
That's so funny because that's such a like a way of like letting your own internal narrative dictate the way you progress through the game, which is so much not how you normally talk about playing games on the show.
No, but I do with Civ.
Like you're very spreadsheet heavy, like min-maxing, all that stuff, which is a super Civ thing to do.
But with Civ, I don't like in Civ Beyond Earth. When you go to the web tree, you can filter by by what kind of
by like
victory you
culture,
want,
by
or
energy.
culture. Yeah, I hate that. Because I feel like that's so... It just puts me in this box where I'm just going to click next till I get till I win. And I just want to... I want to feel like I'm exploring a world, and I don't feel enough like I'm exploring this new world.
Then don't use the filter thing as much as you can.
Well, I don't.
So that and then just...
I just meant that more as just of my... How I'm playing the game.
This is understandable because these are science fiction technologies. And I think given that the game does a really good job of making them feel useful and different, especially with the quests that you get after you build like the buildings when you get them.
Yeah.
So like you research, alien culture and you build an alien preserve, and then you get a little quest afterward that's like, your scientists want to study something in the alien preserve, but other people who really like the aliens think that it shouldn't be used for study. And then you choose, do you want to get culture from these things, or do you want to get science from these things, in addition to what they already have?
We should talk about the quest, but with what you're saying, like I love when the other civilizations, what are the other factions, like,
the other corporations,
they're constantly coming at me, just whoa, why are you getting rid of miasma near my borders? I don't like that. And I'm like, okay, don't worry about it. I don't change anything, and they get upset because I'm killing alien life.
Sometimes I just get pop-ups that say like, I don't agree with It's the most vague description of. It's like I don't agree with your general.
Yeah,
general, like
who you are.
What you're
I don't
doing.
like who you are.
I'm
Jay.
not into your whole thing.
Yeah. I'm like
Great.
okay.
What? Maybe you could keep that to yourself, asshole.
When like you capture one of their spies, they're like they come with like the most passive aggressive shit at you.
Oh,
They're
really?
like, well, we spent a lot of time on that spy, and it's very sad, but we understand why you killed him.
I love like nobody's going to war for me because I'm pretty sure that the other factions take into account what they would lose in trade when they're deciding to go to war with you. So I've been kind of just getting my trade on with everybody, but I'm watching all these squabbles happen, you know, off to the side that have nothing to do with me, and it's kind of.
I found that
I don't know, it's just like I don't know this game. I don't care about the other factions. Like I don't.
Well, the thing about the other factions is that this game is way less about like colonization. Well, it's about colonization, but it's way less about like taking over the other factions. It's not about like you are trying to let your culture and your point of view, take over all of these other cultures. It can be, but that's not what I feel like the goal is of this game. It's way just more about trying to discover new stuff and like kind of more push technology, but they just include all the other stuff because that's what the game is. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, I mean, there's all this military stuff, but when it comes down to it, the themes behind the idea of the game seem totally not about building up this military power to just crush all these other civilizations who are just trying to save themselves.
No,
like
it's
you
about
are
you are you a hippie or are you
yeah?
Are you doing
Are you a 1%er?
Yeah,
or
is this planet this there for the taking, or is it something they?
What I think part of it is that this game is a lot more map dependent, like starting location dependent than Civ 5. And Civ 5 is pretty starting location dependent.
Is it? Maybe I just lucked out. I don't know. I feel like
you can luck out, but it seems to be more random in how much space a Civ has to expand before it runs into another Civ or another faction.
In what way do you feel like you run into them
like the first
faster
game I
not?
played? Mm-hmm. Like, I had an entire quadrant of the continent to myself. Like, no one was near me.
I did not have it.
And,
Yeah,
I
neither.
never had to go to war. I had, one border that bumped up against someone else. Like, the only military issues I had
Have
were
you
with
finished the
aliens.
game?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you finished the game?
No.
Okay. I have not either.
And then also, the second game I played, I got dumped on a tundra with just shit nearby. There were no resources, and it was, the worst. I could not do anything. So, your initial starting location has a lot to do with what the game ends up being. And I think in most cases, this game is easier to, change your mind and do different things and not have to restart, than Civ 5 is. But the starting location is a huge thing that... So, in the first, 10, 50 turns, you might restart more. But after that, you can usually figure out a way to keep playing.
Speaking about, strategically placing where you're going to colonize and all that stuff. And by the way, I do kind of like the way that you start new colonies, you make an outpost, because that somehow makes narrative sense to
For
me.
a turn,
the way
or
you
two
would
turns
send
or
one
something.
guy out.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
it's only for.
But it keeps the game from having this explosion of having a civilization with 10 or 15 cities. None of the civs that I was going up against had more. One was just a one city team. They're we got one colony and we're going all in on this one colony and that's it. I did a normal sized game with I don't know, 6 civs total or whatever it is.
How many? Okay.
But I like how the colonies, when they expand their borders, it's absolutely only based on where's the best resource. We'll take that square, and it has nothing to do with following any sort of it's not an even expansion in all directions. It's not it just grows a concentric circle. Your
I
cities.
haven't had that experience.
Oh, my cities are growing in like straight lines
Yeah.
across,
Oh, really?
and they have all this empty space, but they just keep going in a straight
just
line
because there's resources in a row.
that are better than others. So I end up with like this weird spider web of territory instead of just one hunk.
I guess.
Which
I
is
guess I
interesting.
do. I guess they're kind of in a U. Yeah, I guess so.
It's cool because
I don't know. They're spreading out though.
I mean, you can only take advantage or work so many tiles at a time. So it's kind of cool that the game does that, because the only reason for actually like having the certain tiles or the gaps in those tiles as technically part of your colony, the only advantage is that nobody else can hone in on that territory or whatever.
Right, or
but
walk through it unless you have open border thing.
yeah, but if you have all this space that's branching out, nobody's going to roll into that territory anyway, because you're kind of inadvertently blocking it off. Because if you have enough, spider webs going
you'll have
out,
patches with just
Yeah.
nothing. I don't have that. I have kind of a. Full...
I've got like patches all over the place, but it's not like anybody's going to come in and fill those in, because there's
Right.
nothing. There's no resources there, and there's like no
But can't
advantage.
you create resources on tiles now?
Probably
Can't
it's.
you?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know if you can
thought you
improve
could
tiles.
create
so
farms.
There are some
Can't you
improved.
create farms on?
Oh yeah,
nothing?
you can just still do farms and things.
Yeah, I mean,
But
you can make a tile.
Yeah,
produce
they're still
some.
somewhat useful, but whatever decision the AI makes when it's like choosing which ones to automatically buy when you get the culture expansion, it's going straight for resources instead of doing the sort of blob like Civ 5 normally did. So here's the main difference between this and Civ 5, like as a strategy game. Like when you're playing Civ 5, if you want to finish and win the game, you have to pretty much pick exactly what you're going to do and do that for the entire game. So if you want a culture victory, you have to focus intently on culture and,
Well, except military is always an option.
military is usually an option,
It's
but
a
it's
pain
sometimes
in the
it's better
fucking
than
ass.
I
in
know,
this
but it's
game.
always there.
Yeah.
Wait, on what, in Civ 5?
No, in this game.
So this one, you were saying the other day when we were all texting about it that this one's you can pivot a little bit.
Yeah, this one there's a lot of pivoting. Like, I know some people who were like they were trying to play as Supremacy all the way, and then they realized that, wait a minute, if I can pivot to Harmony and win a lot easier, so they just went to those Harmony techs and they got them.
That's actually exactly what I'm finding right now. I just hit about level 6 or 7 in Supremacy, and I have 0 in whatever the red one is.
Purity.
Purity. I have 0 points in that, but I also have like 3 or 4 points in Harmony, and I've noticed that right now I'm starting to lean more towards the Harmony side, because that is I'm getting more for my money,
This is like the KOTOR thing, and Mass Effect thing in a little bit, because my friend Dave and I would talk about KOTOR. I would say, like, how do you play? He would kind of play on a case by case basis when he made his decisions.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this guy, and then murder him or because he would choose the light or dark path just on a case by case basis.
Sure.
And in Mass Effect 1 or 2, they definitely forced you down. Oh, in one, they force you down a path. You have to choose from the kind of very early on if you want to be Paragon or Renegade, if you want to get some like save Rex or do this other stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least I thought so, used to think so. But so with Civ, it's kind of like the same thing. I like playing Beyond Earth for my first game in a very like case by case basis. Like, I was killing aliens because they were attacking me. And then later I kind of thought, well, that's fucked up. Like, of course they're attacking me. I just landed on their nest. So maybe I should try to just be cool with the attacking the aliens and kind of pivot,
And that's a good way to play. Like, it encourages that, where Civ 5 is like, if you see like perfect expansion spots beyond your initial 3 or 4 cities, those might be great for expanding, but they're not good for culture. So you have to like force yourself to only get the things that are going to be really good for that culture victory, as opposed to taking things on a case by case basis. And that made it like conceptually, that made Civ 5 feel like, a really strong strategy game where you had to, focus and do the right things and play smart and so on. But as you were playing, it turned it into kind of like a race against everything where you're either doing it right or doing it wrong, as opposed to Beyond Earth or other strategy games that aren't quite so rigid about the victory conditions. And this is one of the reasons that I like it a lot more than Civ 5 when it came out, is that I feel like I can just play it how I feel like it.
Which is way more fun for me.
It's the Far Cry 2 of civilizations.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'll eventually get really gamey with games, but I don't like to start that way.
No. And Civ 5, I will have to say that as far as replay value, like every time I went back to play a new campaign in that game, it was all about, okay, this time I'm going to do a pure diplomatic victory where like all I do is make friendships with like every city-state on the map, and you kick ass that way, and win the World Congress or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then another playthrough would be like, I'm gonna cultural domination. People are like, I'm just gonna make musicians all fucking day long and get my tourism up as high as possible, which is also one of my favorite like Brave New World editions.
Yeah.
But you're right in that you have to go in being like, this is my cultural victory game. This is my, diplomatic victory game. This is my military victory
I'm a mage,
game.
I'm a fighter.
Yeah, exactly. You're min-maxing all of your resources based on that eventuality. Where, I mean, this game, it does make sense because I guess, the narrative premise is that you don't really know what's out there, and you are kind of adapting your technology to deal with what you find and the dynamics that you run into in the game, which it makes for slower progress in any one direction, but it is nice that you never really feel too screwed over.
And another thing is like as I said, when you're like building a new building and you get the choice about what to enhance about that building.
Oh yeah, those
so
perks.
You'll build something that has health, and if you need more health, then you'll have that option. But if you don't need more health, then you can make it do more science and so on. So there's this consistent idea that there's always going to be some sort of way that you can kind of change direction.
As you finish the game, in the end, do you find out that miasma is like this wonderful thing that's great for the life forms?
The end is not what you would call you know how great the intro is?
Yeah.
The intro is kind of the reverse. It's like a screen that says you won or you lost.
Oh wait, I heard it just boots you out.
It's like
almost
Kentucky Route
I heard it.
Zero.
There's no summary screen or anything. It's just back to main menu.
I want to hear slow blossoming French horns and that British guy who's doing a Patrick Stewart impression come on and be like, "You have engaged in the entire game and come out victoriously."
Okay, I want aliens.
Yeah.
Like alien civs in this game, and it's not that kind of game. And
so you want to go for the you want the green ending?
I want I want the Thorians. I want all kinds of different alien species.
You know what?
I want Star Trek Civ. I don't want.
Do you guys
bunch of corporations like battling it out for resources on some planet?
They're not corporations.
What are they?
One or two. They're like conglomerations of countries, or their empires or whatever.
The government is a corporation, man.
They're still geographically based.
Oh yeah, it's like New Brasilia and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
there's Brasilia and the Slavic Federation and Polystralia.
Well, whatever.
Yeah,
I want Star Trek.
Polystralia.
I want the Klingons. I want other species in my sci-fi games.
This is a game that I think will be really, really good for modders.
Are there any sentient alien life?
You know what? Let's take a quick break and come back, because you mentioned the Thorian, and I have a good story that's related to that. We'll take a quick break and come back.
Welcome back.
So speaking of the Thorian, there was a one of those little mission pop-ups that let me know that my scientists discovered like a intelligent being that is basically the entire planet. And I was like, holy shit, I discovered the Thorian from Mass Effect.
Right.
So that moment felt super awesome sci-fi novel to me.
That's cool.
But
that's what I'm talking about.
But it was just like a flash of text on the screen.
And then you just got some energy.
And I was like, oh, okay, I guess as long as the game told me that's what was happening, then that's what's happening. But the game didn't really relay anything or change its, like nothing.
I think
actually
I need to play
changed.
Endless Space, probably.
Endless Legend.
Endless Space Legend.
I want to play a space game though.
Space Base.
I want to play a game like Civ, but on another planet than Earth. But not Civ, not Beyond Earth, a different game.
Well, Endless Legend is kind of a science fantasy thing, and it's got a lot more personality than Endless Space. Endless Space was like a pretty good strategy game with no real personality.
That's what I hear. But I remember, did you ever play, I don't know.
And Endless Legend is like a pretty good strategy game with all personality. It's really cool.
There was the game when I was on my Commodore
you have
64 where I was traveling around in space, but I could talk to aliens. You could choose like your mood.
Star Control?
Yes, Star Control 2, actually. So good. I want to play that. But Civ, but on another planet, but not Civ Beyond Earth.
Well, here's some of the things that are bumming me out about Civ Beyond Earth, and those are things like the
don't be bummed.
well, the stations that are basically the same thing as the city states in Civ. Like all you do is trade with them. There aren't any other like diplomatic dynamics. There's no like friendship level how you had.
I'm totally okay with that. I kind of hated the city states.
Yeah, but it added something. It didn't take anything away by that being there.
I felt like it did. Like I did not like Civ 5 at all until I started playing games without city states.
What? That's ridiculous.
It like they just felt like they were there to be in the way. And by the time the last expansion came out, Brave New World came out, they'd fixed them so that they were okay, but I still would turn them way down.
Okay, well, maybe I'm thinking of how I enjoyed their inclusion in Brave New World, and I thought that they added some new dynamics that made them more of an enjoyable part of the game. But aside from that, culture is only to get like those whatever cultural badges or whatever they're called. Those buffs.
Does culture help with
the
happiness?
culture buffs?
The happiness or health or whatever that thing is in the top right that's always red and bad.
Yeah. Well, those buffs are really important. You're talking about the
yes,
ideology?
they are really important, but there's no like cultural victory in Beyond Earth, is there?
No.
No, what's
That's
the...
okay.
I like the tourism. I thought
Yeah.
that was a good addition. I
I would expect to see something like that in an expansion.
Well, I hope so, because despite the fact that you're focused on developing technology, I think it would be cool if they were like, in order to maintain your humanity, you also need to produce like culture, and that would be cool.
Isn't culture super important? Doesn't that help with your happiness level?
I don't think so.
Oh.
No,
Is
that's
happiness the thing in the top right? The health or
Health.
Health? Yes.
Health takes over for happiness. But
Culture doesn't help with health?
No,
Maybe indirectly, but I haven't found any relationship.
The culture thing is a little weird. Like some of the ways that they reconceived or didn't reconceive of the core sort of resources, or
Well, they had to because that's just Civ 5. Like they have to name,
I know.
They have to come up with either a new name for all the different
Right.
variables in the spreadsheet in the database, or use the same ones. So,
yeah. So culture is kind of this concept of like where people who care about you happen to live. That's basically all that it is in this.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So the culture is how you expand your cities. So the more culture you have, the more hexes around your cities.
Oh, where
you
they
get.
happen to live. I got you.
Right. So they kind of like spread out, build their farmsteads or whatever in those squares, and then those are yours. And that's really the only way to conceive of it. And it's kind of a weird thing that doesn't entirely fit. I don't think it's like a bad gameplay mechanic. It just doesn't quite seem like a good fit. And I think that with expansions, they're going to, look into things like that. And
Well, we'll look forward to that. Survey says next game.
I would love to see an expansion where...
same game.
Yeah, I would love to see an expansion that was like the second Renaissance or something, and it's like a space Renaissance, so that it's focused.
Space Renaissance.
Yeah,
Like
space
it's the next
Renaissance.
the
I think
motherships.
we've got our title now.
Wait,
Yeah.
is this where the motherships from the other alien planets land, and now they're involved? So now you're actually dealing with alien species.
Well, sure, that can be part of it too. Maybe that's another expansion.
That's what there's like 6 new factions, but they're alien
That
factions.
was what Alpha Centauri, which is kind of the game that this is based on, did. They had
Yeah.
an expansion called Alien Crossfire,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you can come in and play as aliens.
What wasn't it that when they made Alpha Centauri, they didn't have the Civ license, so they couldn't call it Civ?
No, that's a different
Oh.
thing you're thinking.
Sid Meier's Railroads.
Oh, yeah.
It was called I mean, I don't know that they called it like Civilization.
And they wanted
Alpha
to call
Centauri,
this Alpha Centauri, but they didn't have the Alpha Centauri license.
Yeah, they don't have the Alpha Centauri license.
But didn't the same thing happen with Alpha Centauri? That they lost the Civ license, so they couldn't call it that?
That's
my understanding.
They didn't lose
like
the Civ license though. The Civ license was in like dubious things where Activision was making some, but it was I don't think they just straight up lost the license. As a side note, if you want a more Alpha Centauri like game, which I think
everyone would.
No, not me.
Yeah, says the guy who doesn't like city states.
This is why I'm a critic.
I guess I'm relatively rare and an old school strategy fan in that I didn't think Alpha Centauri was that much better than Civ.
I've never played it.
Well, it's on GOG and it's still relatively playable. It was always clunky and it's still kind of clunky. But there's a sort of remake thing that I think is on Steam Greenlight. I don't know if it's on Steam yet.
Meyer Jank.
But it's on whatever the wargaming site is. Maybe it's just wargaming. And
cool.
It's called. It's called Pandora First Contact, and it's probably got a lot of more of the philosophical and sort of gameplay changing things that you're looking for.
Aliens. I just want aliens in my space game.
I don't know if it has playable aliens, but I think it does a lot more with
Not
sort
playable.
of
they come up on the screen and then you talk to them. You know, like in Star Trek.
I am Bill Clinton.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk some more Civ because we're still chugging through it. Games, man, for a standard game, I'm on turn 260 something, and I feel like I still have a long way to go.
Did you start over?
No.
they tend to finish between like 300 and 400 turns.
It feels like they feel long. It feels like a long standard game, but anyway, we'll catch up on it next time.
It's a pretty resource intensive game too.
But speaking of
resources,
The Longest Journey? What's the segue here?
speaking of space and suns.
Oh, yeah, I've been playing Fantasy Life on the 3DS.
No.
It's like Skyrim.
but cute.
But cute.
I thought you tried Sunset Overdrive.
That was the segue? What does that have to do with resources?
Sunset over. It has nothing to do with
Why
anything.
did we even stop talking about Civ? We've all played that.
Because we were ready to move on.
Because you said you wanted to hear about Sunset Overdrive?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, at some point in the next 6 months.
Well, this is some point. You said it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's rad. It's a video game.
That's what it looks like.
I never played Jet Set Radio.
Okay.
So this to me feels like Crackdown, except you rail slide everywhere instead of jumping.
Where do I sign up?
I know. It's got that whole. It's like Tony Hawk. Like you're constantly rail sliding on. I don't know what your shoes. Yeah, I don't even know what it is. But then you
have those little wheelie shoes that the kids have.
Something like that.
On.
And you're trying to go from point A to point B, and it's not like Assassin's Creed where you just hold the button down and push forward, and you're climbing over stuff and jumping things. You have to think about where you're going to land and how you're going to land. It's not just completely
What? That's
automatic.
not what a video game is.
That's how Tony Hawk was.
Video game says to press X for awesome.
Not Tony Hawk.
A for awesome.
And then there's shit to kill everywhere. And you level shit up.
Awesome.
Are there orbs?
There's stuff to... There's stuff. There's plenty of stuff.
So
there's no lack of stuff
this,
to go run around and pick up and grab.
One thing that strikes me about this game right off the bat is it seems like one of those games that while you're playing it, it's like, hey, look at this crazy bullshit you're doing right now. Check this crazy shit out,
I'll ask you two
motherfucker.
questions. First question.
What?
Do you like leveling up?
I do.
Second question. Do you like Tood? Because...
See, that's the part that I don't know about. Like, Jet Grind Radio had this very, odd... to us, a Japanese sort of weirdness.
No,
and
this
I
is...
I don't know. People are like,
this is
like
Sunny
being
D.
a Blink 82.
No, this is Sunny D Tude. This is skateboarding with your Sunny D radical
Yeah.
Tude.
Mountain
This is
Dew,
like
Blink-182.
everybody's busting out the Capri Suns.
Everybody, and then there's just punk music playing constantly.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a pop punk game. It's
Yeah.
constantly playing punk music.
Skate or die, dude.
Hot Topic punk, though, you know?
Yeah, I do know.
You know. And it's just fun. It's fun. Everything about it's fun. Everything you're doing is fun. You can
feel-
fast travel,
you feel-
but I don't fast travel.
Is it
because
like
it's just fun?
It's
to
like
traverse.
Rancid the game.
It's like Rancid. Yeah, like their second album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the one.
Cool.
Garbage the game.
Let's
Sounds
go.
good.
It's Let's Go the game.
Yeah.
It's just fun. It's just it doesn't take.
So if you could describe this game in a single word, Crackdown like.
It's very Crackdown. Like, you know what's cool about
Chillin'
it
game.
is
It doesn't sound very chilling at
or
all.
I don't know if
Chillin'
it's cool.
game.
It's got, you know, if you get annoyed by bad jokes or bad humor or in your face,
Did you remember the part where we play video games?
right. This is all that all the time, and it's constantly saying like, "Press A." I don't know what A is, though. You know, like
Yeah,
that
that's what
kind
I
of-
mean
yeah,
by like,
yeah.
you're playing a fucking video
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
That's exactly what I meant
It does
by that.
that always.
Yeah.
Okay. So anytime it'll give you instructions, it'll be like,
So it's a Family Guy game.
well, it's just self-referential to being a video game all the time. It's
Totally.
when you die, you
Like, does it call you stupid for dying? Like, you are dumb for letting me die.
no, but every time you die, you kind of have these little like Trevor-esque comeback moments. Like you'll crawl out of a refrigerator or be dropped off by aliens.
Yeah, like,
or,
how he wakes up
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like drunk on a
Yeah.
couch that's sitting on a corner
Yeah.
somewhere in the pouring rain or something. Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
and this game just wants to empower you every second. So you're just constantly leveling things up and getting new perks. And there's perks for your weapons and perks for your.
so
But
it's
the perks are based on skill, so you have access to them as you grind your way through this power meter.
so it's like
By grinding, you mean sliding along rails.
yeah.
so it's like the Oblivion of Just Causes.
yeah. You do, yes, because you get better at the stuff you use.
Yeah,
you level up the stuff you
like
use.
like in Oblivion.
Right, but also you constantly have like a combo meter-esque type thing based on how awesome you are with your rail sliding and jumping
Yeah,
around.
because it's Tony Hawk,
Right,
and there
and the
has
higher
and you,
that
and you
is-
chain your tricks together.
right. The higher that is, the kind of better the perk you have access to at that moment. So,
that's
you have a
awesome.
kind of jump in the air and. Oh no! Let's say you have a melee, so you can just swing your skateboard, or I don't think you have a skateboard. I don't know how you get around. You can swing something, and but if your style meter is high enough, then that also is a fire effect. So it also blows shit up. and
Nice,
It's just fun.
just
As-
dumb
as
fun.
Rowan's favorite word for a video game, but I think is
Well, it can be applicable. It's
it's
I
more
don't think it's
applicable
the
to this
only
game
thing.
than
Fuck yeah.
Sounds
just a
cool.
video game.
Well, I'll look forward to trying it whenever I get Xbox One.
Yeah, might come to PC.
Yeah, it might. I mean, eventually, when Crackdown comes out, I mean, it's going to be real tough to stay away from the Xbox One. But
Yeah, it looks all next gen-y too.
I love
Lots
Next
of
Jenny.
colors.
She's real cool. But
Sunset Overdrive.
well, speaking of other self-referential games, unless you
No,
uh,
it's like Crackdown and Tony Hawk. It feels. Imagine
Sold.
whatever that feels like to you. That's what this game feels like.
great, it sounds like with a soundtrack to match.
Yeah, you don't stop moving. It's like in Tony Hawk, it's awkward. You don't stop. You don't stop in this either. If you're walking around, you're dying.
There is no get off your skateboard button in Tony Hawk.
Right.
Or at least not in the first Tony Hawk.
Yeah, this has that, but it's just dumb. You don't want to be doing it.
Well, speaking of games that are super self-referential and all about like being video games, I played through the first episode of the new Longest Journey.
Ragnar Tornquist.
That's right. The Norse god Ragnar Tornquist penned and directed all three Longest Journey games. This game is almost. I mean, the first one came out in like 98 or 99, something like that. So this is kind of like a long time coming.
This is the third.
This is the third.
Okay.
It's coming out in episodes. So like 5 episodes, and then they're calling it 5 books. That's why it's Dreamfall Chapters.
How much are they?
I think it's $25 or $30 for the whole thing.
Oh, for the whole thing, it's not per.
You can't buy it per episode.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't work like that. You
Okay.
need to you need the whole game to do it. But it picks up where Dreamfall left off. If you haven't played it, it follows
For the Xbox, the original Xbox?
the original Xbox and possibly GameCube.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I like that like Morrowind, KOTOR, and The Longest Journey were on Xbox.
Yeah,
Those are
Xbox
games.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. But I mean, as soon as I started playing it, it kind of like that same kind of nostalgia for the series like came back right
Did they
away.
They nailed the tone.
Yes, that's what these games have always done super well. Is like it's all about tone and atmosphere. Like as far as sci-fi games go, like I swear to God, this is one of the most sci-fi ass environments to walk around in.
What did I play? When I was playing, it looked really good. I took screenshots of it. I was playing some game.
Was it this game?
No,
Or
no, no.
One
This
of these
was a while
games?
ago. It was a year. It was probably The Longest Journey.
Well, it was probably Dreamfall if it wasn't. I mean, The Longest Journey is like point and click adventure, like
This one looked
super
pretty good.
pixelated,
No,
like
no,
sprite graphics.
No.
Dreamfall was like a legit 3D game,
Yeah.
3D environments. And
Yeah,
stuff.
you were in like an apartment. There was a bear that detected.
Yeah. The Wonkers.
Sure.
Your purple Watilla.
That was the second one. This is the third one.
Yeah, this is the third one, which follows the same character from the second one. So you're the same girl that you play in the second one.
Rowan
Zoe
was asking me
Castillo.
earlier, how many P's is this game?
It's all the P's.
Mm-hmm.
They fit all the P's in this game, but the city itself, like man, just it is a sci-fi ass city in the best way. I love like all the lighting effects. No matter what is going on, and some people might find this obnoxious, but I think it's just enough to really give it that kind of Blade Runner feel. But like no matter what camera angle you have it at, there's always some kind of red or green or blue streak somewhere
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
screen,
Right,
like
right.
going on in the corner.
Right, like space cars. like
Yeah.
driving
Oh
around. Yeah, yeah.
man, if you look up, like the buildings just go on forever, and there's gigantic like hovering like buses and ships floating
Yeah.
overhead. It's awesome. It feels so good to be in that world, and the dialogue is just spot on. It's as good as it ever was. I mean, time
Does
will.
Ragnar Tornquist show up in all the episodes in each game, kind of like Stan Lee or Hitchcock? You just see him like looking through a window in the background. Have you found him in this one? yet?
He does.
That's my follow up.
No, I haven't found him yet.
He's
He's
not gonna be in the
he's an
first
Easter egg.
episode.
Probably not the first one.
How often are these coming out?
I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, there's no timeline.
I don't know. I don't know what the exact timeline
Well,
is.
I
But I
asked you-
assume if I assume that it's going to be, maybe an episode a month or something like that. That
Well-
seems to be a similar schedule to like The Walking Dead
Yeah.
or,
And
or
you think
Wolf
they're-
Among Us.
You're not worried at all that you're not going to see all of these episodes.
No way.
Okay.
No, it's like they're doing it. This is not
Yeah.
like there's nothing left to, like they're not going to maybe not finish it.
Okay.
Like this is a
This is a Tornquist joint.
no, they like I don't think I have no worries that they're like not going to complete
Okay.
the game.
Yeah,
Me
this
either.
is not a secret world.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
Right, exactly.
Wait, that was Tornquist.
yeah, that was his MMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That he kind of left.
And this isn't
got
Dennis
run
Dyack who keeps starting new companies,
Right.
like new shady companies for his. weird-
Ragnar Tornquist isn't trying to sue Unreal or whatever. Who's the company that makes Unreal?
Epic.
Epic. Yeah, he's not trying to sue Epic Games, so I think he'll be okay. But the one thing that The Longest Journey was always not the best at was like being a game. Like as a game, it's not the best game, and
People
this
just
is
sat and talked for so long. There's so much just sitting and talking.
yeah. I mean, it is much more like it's a great story.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a great game, but it is a game that I think kind of needs to be told. It's a story that needs to be told interactively, so
But
that's
is it-
why it's
have
a
they
game.
gone the Walking Dead route where it is more of you just kind of pushing it forward, or there's still kind of Like, I remember I played the first one a little bit, and it did have some of those old school, obscure kind of.
It still has
puzzles.
It still has some rather archaic feeling puzzles where you're looking for the thing that you need in order to combine with this thing to unlock the next part of it. Like, it's still the longest journey, and I don't think they've really pushed like the gaminess of it forward very much, even though everything else about it feels like it has, it's on a modern engine, it's modern graphics.
Yeah.
Dialogue is, this is an adult ass game. I was telling you before that there's a scene where your character Zoe works for a campaign for like a up and coming mayoral candidate or something. There's like all these Marxists who are super into communism, and they're supporting this Marxist.
Is her slogan? It's hella time for new leadership.
Yeah, basically, inside joke for you fellow Oaklanders out there. But there's a wall with all these sort of Barack Obama style hope posters with this candidate's face all over it. And at one point, you roll up because you're going to work, and there's like a bot cleaning graffiti off of the posters, and the graffiti is like this hot pink paint that has been spray painted over the face of the candidate, and it's a giant vagina. So like her face is in the middle of this vagina with like a little butthole underneath it and legs spread open, and somebody has crossed out her name, which is like something I don't remember the last name, like Hater or something like that. And they crossed out her first name and the first couple letters of her last name to make it spell Clit Raider. So not for kids. It's not your kids. Not an adventure game for kids, I would say. There's another character,
Shitty shit.
who
Although that is a very juvenile.
That's the thing that's hilarious about this game is that it is very juvenile, but it's also very adult. Mm-hmm. So you can take that for what you will. There's one character especially who's super foul-mouthed, and I think says shit more times in a row than any game I've ever played.
Sometimes when people say adult, they mean mature, and sometimes when they say adult, they mean clit.
Right.
Is in the.
I mean M for mature.
Right,
I don't
right,
mean mature.
Thematically mature.
I do not mean. I mean horribly
bad
juvenile.
words. Yeah.
But I also mean like that's why this game is rated what it is. Like there's probably nothing in this. No reason that this game couldn't be rated teen or lower, except for the clit references.
Peggy 16.
Except for the shitty shits all over this game.
Right.
That and I think they might drop the C word in there a few times. Anyway, it's a sweet sci-fi game.
Really, really wanting to play it, but I've just been overwhelmed with the games out right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just stuff.
What's your timeline? When you got to get out of here?
Now.
Okay.
About now. You want to wrap it up? Rowan, any closing arguments?
Rowan's rant.
Your thoughts?
Siege worms.
Everybody
siege
kill
worms.
the siege worm. I killed the siege worm. I got the achievement.
The only good bug's a dead bug.
Gotta get your artillery up and take those things out one gun at a time.
I use my gunners.
Yeah, I use my gunners too. I leveled up my gunners, and now they're like taking down siege worms like it ain't no thing.
Do you guys use the thing? Is it called? I don't know what it's called. Like C-Tech? I don't know. The thing, the little plane, two planes that you can.
Yeah.
They can only be in cities.
The tac jet?
Yeah, tac jet.
Yeah, but I
The
find that
C-Tech jet.
no,
They come from Seattle.
Yeah, I
the
don't know why
C-Tech-
C-Tech.
C-Tech jet is pretty good.
Yeah, I was using them, but then the bummer is they have to be in a city, and if you're in a city, if you have a unit in a city, you can't purchase
Other units.
It's
You need
really
to get
awkward how that works in some ways in that game.
Yeah.
They need to fix that shit.
All right, pro tip: get yourself a carrier. You can pop them shits on the carrier, take the carrier out, and then you can launch the tac jet from wherever the carrier is.
I didn't know that. That's the first time a pro tip has been a pro tip.
Pro tip, man. This ain't your grandma's tips. On that note,
Send us an email, joshandjshow@unwinnable.com.
How do you
Fuck yeah.
You can go to unwinnable.com/Josh and Jay Show for more episodes. You can catch us on Twitter, and I suggest you do, at Jay Pullman, at Rowan Kaiser, at Joshua Doan, at Josh and Jay Show.
Thanks, everyone.